How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is Joe and Jay Outspoken.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, we're really outspoken, guys. Let me tell you,
Every day?
every day. You know, this is the place where opinions matter, just not
Doesn't
yours.
Not yours. Yeah, that's right.
I'm just kidding, guys, and I'm not. But anyway, welcome to the show. We got some good stuff we're going to be talking about today, and coming up, and
Very current events.
Yeah, and then coming up in the next couple of months, we got some real good topics we're going to be discussing. Just more information for you guys to hate on us a little bit more, or hear me out. Maybe like us a little more.
Yeah,
I don't know. Either way, it's fun.
Luckily we have more likers than haters.
But we love you both.
We love you both.
We'll take you guys both.
We
take the good with the bad, the ugly with the pretty, preferably more pretty than ugly. But either way, you know, who are we to judge?
Yeah.
Other than two sexy son of a guns. You know what I mean?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Of course you couldn't. Of course you couldn't. But today's topics will be very interesting. I think it hits home in many ways, and I feel like I'm an expert in this topic. Yeah, because I myself am not an immigrant, but my father was.
Yeah.
You know, I would say my mom, but she's from Texas, and you know, we could flip the coin and say it was part of Mexico. It wasn't. Right. They defaulted. They ran away. They, you know, whatever they did. Texas is a whole nation in itself. They don't even say they're Americans.
The Lone Star State.
They don't even say they're Americans. They say they're Texans. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm half Mexican and half Texan, I guess. I don't know, you know, but all American. I'm a Texican. Yeah, well, I guess that works. It's be great. And man, look, let me tell you something. To all you Mexican American clowns out there who are waving that Mexican flag, stay tuned. I need you guys to hear this because I think it's important. And I've seen your guys' arguments, and I understand a lot of it, but you are barking up the wrong tree. Let me tell you. So, so you know, here we go, Jay. What do you?
Yeah. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get it going.
All right, well, here we go. Once again, thanks for joining us. Yeah, today's topic is Trump's immigration.
Yeah.
So this is a heated topic right now, Joe.
It really is, and it's gotten out of control. I mean, there's footage. You know, people out there were out in the streets protesting. Some people have gotten jumped because they're like, yeah, I'm for Trump's immigration policy, blah, blah, blah. And they've gotten assaulted. It's really gone south. And it's sad to say because it should have never gone there. It should have never gone to that point. And, you know, people are saying like, well, his immigration policy is horrible, blah, blah. He has a policy, period. Biden never had one. It was just a free for all. Everybody came in. And I guess people really, and I get their emotions behind it to an extent, but they don't see the economic impact that it has on our society. They don't see their own parents' struggles that they had in this country, doing the things the right way, trying to become citizens here, or even just neutralize citizens here to be able to, or just like have the power to work. Right. And I forget what it's called. My dad had a card and I can't remember what it's called. Residential alien. And there was something else.
There was the resident alien cards. I remember those.
And so everything had alien on it, right? Because it's just a form of everything. Like, oh, you're a little green man or whatever. But the point is that.
Well, the whole thing, what's funny about that, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you, but the word alien didn't originate as little green men. Alien meant you were foreign to the air, whatever area it was. So people that were of different parts of, like before the United States was the United States, or even other countries back in Europe and other places, they would call people from other territories, I guess would be the best name for it.
But even if you went to,
you were called an alien from another area. It wasn't a bad term, and now it's been used as like derogatory term.
The left has they tend to do this, but now like, even back then, like when you'd go to places, I never used it, but you go somewhere you're not familiar with, like, man, this is all alien to me.
This is all alien to me. Right? It's foreign to me.
Correct.
That's what it is.
Correct. So
stop making it worse than it is.
Well, the left has a tendency to do that. Yeah. They like to make there's called fear mongering, right? Fear mongering.
Yeah.
And
mongoloiding.
Yeah. That's another one.
That's just as good.
but they do this all the time, and people get all worked up about it. So anyway, my point was that, you know, they minimize the efforts, the sacrifices that their own parents and grandparents had coming to this nation, working hard, having to follow these laws and pay these fines and just to become a alien.
Right.
And now by allowing them to, you know, you have these young kids from high school. Most of them probably just don't want to go to school, college and things like that, you know, that are out there marching. They're all proud about their, you know, Mexican American heritage and blah, blah, blah. So now what you're doing is you're allowing all these aliens. We've allowed all these foreigners to come into our country, and all these people who have stuck it out and worked hard are getting stepped over.
Oh yeah,
because you know they're like, sorry guys, you guys did it the right way, but you're in the back of the line because we got to get these all these people seeking asylums ahead of you. You know, like, first off, asylum from what? From like poverty? That's not how the asylum works. You know, you're talking about where, you know, death and war and famine. These places have food. Now, whether the government is horrible, that's not, how's that our concern?
Right.
You know, and but they're making it. Here's my message to you guys out there. This is, call me crazy. If I want to be heard on a topic that is really important to me, I'm not going to go out there and wave another country's flag, burn the country that I want the attention of.
Yeah, and to pay my student loans.
Right.
But go ahead.
Correct. You know, do all these craziness. Like, look, man, I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my background. I love the culture that I come from. I love it. But I was born here. I'm an American. My citizenship is here. I owe gratitude to this country for allowing me to be successful in what I do. Now, whether I'm successful or not is not this country's fault, but the opportunities are there. But I owe a lot for the blanket of protection of the laws that are set forth for us to be able to achieve the things that we want to achieve in our lives. We don't have to worry about a lot of these things that other countries south of us, north of us, or around the world have to deal with. You know, we're a very unique country in so many ways that people don't stop and realize that. And by doing what they're doing, by assaulting other people who have different belief systems than them, who think that, you know, hey, I get it. I'm a humanitarian. I feel sorry for them. I see someone in the street, I'm going to go try to help them. But let me tell you this, Jay. If I see someone in the street who's struggling, needs food, and I have my own family struggling who needs food, I'm sorry, but they're going to come first. I have to feed my family first.
Right.
Whatever's left, I'm more than grateful to. I'd rather not eat and give it to somebody else. But my family has to come first. That's how the United States is being run by this administration. Hey, look, man, we're humanitarians. We'll help the next person just as anyone else. Our country comes first. I have to take care of my country, my countrymen, our citizens. All that. People are not seeing that. And I find it ridiculous that people are going to stick their hand out for money from this government, from this country, and then with the other ones, slap them in the face.
Yeah, for sure.
Know?
Well, you know, you mentioned something in one of our previous episodes that we had, and it was about the caravans, right, that were coming up through Mexico. Now, let's set aside people from actual Mexico, the Mexican citizens coming over here there's a bunch of different categories of that. Correct. Right? You have what's called migrant workers, and a lot of people put all these into one category, and that's not the case. So migrant workers are people that live in Mexico. They come over here, they work for a while, and they go back, and they still have families. They send their money back there, and all that.
There are forms for them to come and work and go back.
That's correct. Yes, yes, and that's a fully legal process that they do, and that's where most of the folks are like, well, and I love it that the lefties do this. They'll say, well, if we get rid of all these people, nobody's going to clean your toilets or
dude,
right?
I'm like, oh,
I'm like, all right. So you assume that's the only people that do this?
Look, man, who's going to pick our fruit if we take all the Mexicans gone?
Yeah, the Mexicans are all gone. We won't have any more vegetables. And
so let's continue to abuse them.
Right.
Just because they're willing to do it. You know what I mean?
So I'll have 2 points to this. So one is the caravan deal. So you had talked about this, the people coming up in the caravans coming from Central America, right? And even South America, which this really, before we go too much farther on this, if you're watching this and you're on a computer or near a computer, look up what is called the Darien Gap. Look it up. It is one of the most dangerous places in the world, seriously, to cross because there is no road, there's no infrastructure or anything like that. And these people from South America are crossing all this to get up there. So just look that up and look at how all that goes. There's actually documentaries on it that are really, really great that are out there. All right. So these caravans are coming up, and let's assume they're only coming from Central America, where it's a little bit easier access. You just have a long walk through Mexico. So these folks will walk all the way through Mexico, that does what? Provides food and stuff.
Correct.
Remember the bean burrito thing, the bean and cheese burrito deal, and they were taking it, like throwing it on the floor and disgusted, like, how could you guys feed us this?
Correct.
Okay. So your point in the beginning was they're looking for a better life, right?
Correct.
Because of whatever it is, poverty, war, take your pick, any kind of negative thing that's impacting their life. And even more important, like if it was us in that situation, it wouldn't be so much us individually. It would be the people that we love around us,
Correct.
right? Our, kids, family that we care about to take care of and not have them suffer or have to go through a hard time. So your number one reason you're leaving Nicaragua is because of war and poverty, just super basic things. So wouldn't you think you get into Mexico and you're like getting free bean and cheese burritos and everybody's cool with you? You would say, let's hunker down here and this is a good place to live, right? That's where we're escaping. But now you're dissing a country that's helping you to get to that next country. And all these people that are waving the flags, like you said, burning American flags and doing all this kind of stuff, are these people that actually came from places like Nicaragua or anywhere like that? Or are they people that have been born here?
No, they're born here.
Absolutely. And they've been brought up in this liberal-esque system that basically feeds them this line of bull, kind of just like the whole Black Lives Matter thing when it happened. Most of us pretty much agree, everybody of every color should be treated the same in the country, right?
Well, the color shouldn't matter.
And it shouldn't matter. And the thing is, those people that did that whole organization and got all that riled up, and not us, but we as a country burnt buildings down of the actual communities that they're trying to protect and defend, right?
Correct. It backfired. It was nothing good.
Backfired. And then come to find out, this has all come out in over a year ago now, where it was all nonsense, right? These young ladies were buying mansions and everything else and spending the money, and none of the money went to the communities that they said they were defending. So the same thing's happening right now. You have, right now it's coming out, all this money that's being spent around the country, right? And all these different programs and everything. Well, some of the programs, one of them was a roundabout way is how Black Lives Matter happened. And the same thing is happening right now with these groups of folks that are doing these protestings for, is it Mexican citizens? Because, there's people from all over the world. There's people from Somalia and there's people, from everywhere that are coming in. And the thing is, like Joe was saying, it affects the economy hugely.
Huge.
So kind of rewind to when I started saying this. So these people are coming up here, right? And I totally understand. They're coming up for a better life. And they didn't stop in Mexico. Why didn't they? Why didn't they say, hey, we got out of whatever the turmoil was that we were in? Why didn't they start there?
Well, my feeling is because back then, Biden was giving them everything. You got money, you got cell phones, you got housing, you got
stuff,
medical,
right?
You got everything was free. It was handed out. And that's where that whole thing about the I don't know if it was the Colombians or who it was one group who was coming over here and saying, like, why do we have to work? We're getting everything for free, and they were just leeching off our government because our government was willing to do it. So that's why they came. That's why they felt, if you're really correct, if you're really poor and you're not having, and then you come to a host country that is giving you burritos, giving you some kind of shelter, not the best in the world, but they're giving you what they have. To you, that's more than what you got from where you're at, right?
Right.
Unless you know of more things to get out of another country. At this point, you're just like, you have something in your mind already saying, no, we're not going to stop there. This is the end result. Here is we're going to America, get all this free stuff and get all this stuff. That's what we're doing. Because if it was really about living in poverty, low poverty levels, they would stop in Mexico and eat and flourish there. But that's not what it's about.
Right.
It's about the free handouts. It's about everything that America was giving away, and they were doing it because they were trying to buy votes, right? Well, that's my thought. But here's the thing that people do not understand that are protesting in America. Honestly, I feel this in my heart, and I feel like, and I don't want to be mean about it. Everybody starts quoting the Bibles. You love your neighbors and things like that. And I get it. I really do. But there's not like war stuff going on over there. It's just the promises that this country has given people is what's luring them here. And they're just false promises, right? Because at one point they're going to end. And clearly now with Trump in office, they're going to end. Right? Why? Because he doesn't want all this wasteful stuff that he found in USAID of giving goodie bags to immigrants that are being deported.
Right.
You know what I mean? All these important things that are happening, they're going to come to an end.
Right.
What we don't see, what Americans don't see is that, do you think it's like good people that are coming over here? The opportunities when you see all this is breaking the law. Because if this government, this country, America, is giving away money, these Visa cards and phones, to these people who are immigrants. That's for another immigrant. That's a target.
Right.
Like, it's an immigrant. We'll go there, rob the own immigrant. Because come on, Mexicans, we're harder on each other than anybody else would be on us. Right.
That most races are on their own race.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So what do you, that just calls for criminal activity to happen. And what's happened? You've seen it taking over apartment complexes, robbing, killing. I mean, there's horrible things happening, and they're all almost illegal immigrants, drunk driving, all kinds of stuff. Look, I don't want to blame it all on illegal immigrants, because clearly we have our own issues, but it has increased that medium level of incident to a higher degree, and why? Because we are now overly populated. Each state has, that's why we have census every 4 years or something like that. They would do a census, is because we're trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to maintain? What's our budget? How many people we're supposed to be taking care of? And as a government, we do the same thing in a federal level.
Well, the census is big time also for voting blocks, where your populace is growing. So like we're here in the Phoenix metro area, and Maricopa County is one of the largest counties in the country, right? So as that grows, and it is growing big time, they're going to probably have to break Maricopa up eventually, because it is getting so big, just because of, so the city of Phoenix itself is the 5th largest city in the country now. And again, Maricopa is like, it's like San Bernardino County, I think, over in California is one of the
largest. San Bernardino is the largest county in California,
right?
Yeah,
and not just by like a huge population, but square footage,
square miles,
it's square miles, square footage, square miles.
Yeah. But we talked about this in our last podcast on the Range Day, about even the state police out here can't maintain the night. Because Maricopa is not just like a focus on Phoenix and that it's all there. It's so spread out. It's like San Bernardino. It's just, you got some wooded areas, you got some desert area. San Bernardino County is huge. Maricopa is the same way. It spreads south, it spreads west. It goes a little bit north. It's just a lot of areas to cover, and there's a lot of cities within that county, right? So
a lot.
And here's I'm sorry, I'm getting so aggressive. But here's the thing.
So aggressive,
I'm
Joe.
so angry right now. But one of the things that I find interesting is that, people are protesting about, our immigration policies in the United States and this and that. But if you look at other countries are praising us for what we're doing and saying, hey, we need to jump aboard just like America's doing. We have to protect our own. There are so many countries that have these walls that are, people's like, oh, these countries don't have borders. And I'm like, yeah, but if they bust you, and you're not there, you're gone, and you'll never be able to come back. They're worse than us. Here's the other thing that people don't know: 64% of Mexicans, and I'm talking Mexicans, not fake Mexicans like live here. Real Mexicans of Mexico, Mexican citizens, 64% of Mexican citizens feel that the immigrants fleeing Central and South America is a threat to their benefits and to their jobs in Mexico.
Yeah.
64%.
Yeah.
Okay. So guess what? Mexico citizens have a concern with immigration. They don't want them there, right? 55% want them gone, out. Like, dude, not our problem. Get out. Right. 30% want them to have a temporary asylum. And only like 7% want them to permanently stay.
Right.
So Mexico is seeing the same nationalist sentiment that's happening in America, in the U.S., is happening in Mexico.
Right.
But all these little Mexican-American kids, they don't see that.
No.
They just see like, Trump's the devil. He has his orange body is as closeness to the devil as possible. Yeah. But in Mexico, the same sentiment is happening with the Mexican citizens. They don't want illegal immigrants there. It's bad enough that they have a large burden with the economy, thing like that, with the government being thieves and stealing from the government, that they don't have enough for their citizens. It's bad enough that they have those problems. Now add to that all these immigrants. Remember those caravans that kept coming and coming? Where do you think they ended up? In Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico didn't want them. They're like, dude, what are we going to do to get them out? And they finally, you know what they were doing? They're doing what these kids are doing and protesting in the streets today. They were doing that over there, attacking police officers. And finally, this Mexico said, look, we're done, man. Pushed them out.
Yeah.
But they still have those problems. They still have those crises. And guess what's happened? You go to Mexico, and I'm sure you've been there a couple of times. You hardly see homelessness in Mexico. You don't see it.
Right.
At all. You might have like a shack or something, but they have somewhere to live. Someone's going to help you. If you go now, there is so much homelessness in Mexico, and those are all the immigrants that are just that have overtaken the areas where they had put tents and stuff like that. They got overran. There's just so many of them. The Mexican president, Sheinbaum, or whatever her name is erecting tents again because of Trump's immigration policy to receive them, because through that little 25% tariff,
right.
all of a sudden everybody want to be friends.
We're not gonna do anything you say. 25% tariff.
Let's talk.
Let's go ahead and
but this is what people don't. This is what people don't see, is that they think that Mexico is so welcoming, and they are to tourists. If you're gonna pay, and then
people that are gonna bring bring benefit to their country, right?
Just like we would.
Yeah,
we welcome everybody. But here's the thing:
I've been keep on your thought. When I graduated college, my dad and my stepbrother, we went all the way down to Cabo San Lucas, right? And we drove all the way down in a motorhome. And I remember when I left the United States, just random people, friends and stuff, they were like, don't drink the water. Don't eat from the taco carts. Don't trust any of the people, and all this kind of nonsense. Now, of course, this was in the early 90s when we went. I'll tell you, the roads are better now than they were back then, because we were like, everything was a mess going down there. However, we ate at every little funky taco cart, and it was the best food. And people
using water to wash their hands.
People said that they used dog in the taco. I'm like, that was the best dog I ever had.
That was the best little Chihuahua I had in my life.
Yeah, right. The guy's like, do you see any cats around here? No, that's why. No, but really. And then we ran out of water way early on. With like, gosh, we ran out of water quick. We're like, did we have a leak in the system or something? So we got to this high point, and the guy said, yeah, it's good water here. And we filled the tank up, and we drank with that and washed dishes. We never got any of the cucarachas or nothing.
No.
So, and
cucarachas in the butt.
As we got now, I would say one exception would be in the border town areas. And border towns
are never good.
On both sides are crappy, right? When we got down into central Baja and then all the way to the tip of Baja, it was one of the best experiences. Baja Sur, and Norte, right? Yeah. See, I remember.
No, but you're
right. It was
beautiful.
Great. Yeah, it was such a great experience, and the folks were wonderful. And what's kind of sad is, I mean, you go down to the tip of Baja, you're pretty far down there, right? And there's so many people that speak multiple languages, not just English. There was a guy at they had like a little outdoor swap meet kind of thing, and people selling blankets and all kinds of stuff,
kidneys and livers.
Cats all strung up. No, and
mafia owned.
The one guy, he's speaking to somebody else, and I'm like, oh, he's not speaking Spanish. He was speaking French, like fluent French to somebody. And the one guy's like, yeah, there's that guy over there speaks Italian, and this guy, So the thing is that's their tourist business, right? And people come from around the world, and they do everything they can to cater to tourists.
Mexico is like America. They're a big melting pot.
Yeah.
Right. They have all kinds of, and it's rooted with so many different cultures. There's Lebanese, there's Italian, there's Asian. There's
a huge Asian population because
there's white people from the Mormons. There's a huge population of Mormons down there.
So
there's
Mormons everywhere.
There is, baby Jesus. So
they have 95 wives, so they populate real quick.
So Mexico is infused with different cultures and different backgrounds, like America is. You could get a burrito on the East Coast and one in the West Coast and one in central or in the plains of Texas. All different.
They all taste completely different. Right? Yeah. I gotta say, I haven't been to Florida in a long time, but the last time I was in Florida, your Mexican food sucks.
Well, yeah, it's all Cuban.
It's all
like they try to do. Let me tell you something, guys. Don't get mad. Don't get mad at me. Mexicans could cook any style of food. They're probably in Italy in the restaurants over there. But you put any other Latin person and try to cook they're gonna mess it up. Man, that's why Cubans cannot make Mexican food, bro. But we can make like Salvadorian pupusas, and we can do all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? We'll make it all. But here's the thing what I was trying to get to is the fact that it's not an American problem; it's a world problem. We have these problems, and people have to understand that we have to take care of the root cause of these things, and that illegal immigration is just that. It's illegal. You can just walk into another country. Can you imagine if you have these people that have no common sense, like no borders, we should be with no. You know how crazy that would be? Like you have to have some kind of security. Now, the security that Mexico has versus how they battle the cartels versus how the security we have and we battle our gangs are very different, right? We don't have that type of level of corruption here yet. We might have a little bit in government, but not in like with law enforcement and things like that, like they do in Mexico. So it's different. These walls, these barriers keep our problems to us and their problems to them.
Right.
And that's what it should be. I see these people on social media, bro, and it disgusts me that like you voted for Trump, you're for this immigration. So guess what? Stick to your hamburgers, stick to you this and your chicken and blah blah. Don't go eat a taco. No more burritos for you. I'm like, are you just stupid? Like, so people who feel that immigration is a problem because it's impacting. Look at Chicago. Look what happened in Chicago. Look what happened in New York City. Look what's happening in California. Ghetto, because the immigration that flooded the streets, homelessness is up. People that deserve to have like housing are being kicked out to fill the immigration spots. USAID is now showing these Lutheran churches getting billions of dollars to help refugees. Are you kidding me? Do you guys not remember?
But we can never help our homeless people on the streets already.
We still haven't helped the people from North Carolina. We still haven't helped the people in the California fires. Well, we don't even know where we're at with Hawaii. Yeah. I mean, like
Palestine, Ohio. I mean,
you know what I mean?
So many things that have not been taken care of.
But we worry about condoms to the Taliban. You know what I mean? And so this is a thing that Americans, they like, you know what? There's nothing wrong. I say it again, nothing wrong. If you want to have it in your house, I used to have it in my garage when I lived in Cali. Big old, nice, beautiful Mexican flag, right? And my American flag. You know what flag was the one that was always flown? Was the American flag. This is my country. How would it look for me flying a Mexican flag or a Canadian flag or any other flag?
It's all about the ice fishing, man.
In America, how embarrassing is that?
Well, like right back here,
even now,
we've got our flag back here, and
then our rainbow flag. Oh my
rainbow flag. No, what football flag would you fly? Right?
Okay, see now you're getting crazy, bro. On my Cowboys flag, and you know what? It's like a subdued American flag, but it has the one star.
It's got it's the Texas flag.
It's a Texas Cowboys flag.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with having pride in where you come from, your culture, all that kind of stuff. But let me ask you that. So somebody that's like, well, I have a lot of German background and I have a lot of German pride, and
German flag.
I have a really good friend of mine that she's German, and
I met her.
Yeah, and
she's nice.
Yeah, and she said,
it's like 8 foot tall.
And she said everybody's 8 foot tall.
Here we go. I opened that door. Yeah. Anyway,
let's close it. And she said, people are stupid. They still bring up Hitler nonsense all these years later. The thing is that country, the people that are there, they were the ones that got rid of that stupid ideology. But I digress on that. So you have people that have come here and have done it the right way. And then you have folks that have done it, illegally, right?
They haven't done it. They're just here illegal.
And they've been put in front of people that have been waiting years to have things done properly and paid tons of money.
Correct.
Now, you would say, well, these people paid a lot of money too, to cartels, coyotes, whatever the case is.
All illegal.
That's completely different, and you shouldn't be doing that kind of
thing.
Plus,
you're attributing to sex trafficking, to the cartels getting more money. Because they don't get charged $5, $10, $20. They're charged thousands of dollars. These are people's livelihood that they're giving these cartel people. Right. And these guys, they're trafficking these people. They're getting them across to the U.S. and then they're making them work over there for cheap. Right. I mean, there's so much stuff. But no, let's wave the Mexican flag or the Colombian flag.
The trafficking thing is huge. Okay.
Over it, bro.
And the deal with that is that
so disrespectful.
You get the cartel to say, okay, we're going to take your family over there, but you're basically indentured servitude to us because you couldn't pay all the money, but you owe us this money. So you're going to have to do whatever it is.
You're going to mule, buddy. That's what you're going to do. We're going to stick this bags of fentanyl in your body and you're going to get it across the border. Right. Whoa, bro. Whoa.
That was very specific.
That was a specific location.
But here's the other thing too. So please, everybody, please realize this. So Joe mentioned earlier those like the gangs and stuff like that in Colorado and the
Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago, in these like the apartment complexes and stuff like that, right? Even before all of this migrant issue, the problem with illegal immigration is that as a big company, we start some kind of anything
venture.
Some kind of thing that we need a bunch of people to work at. And we want to get them for really cheap, right? We want to get them really cheap. And we know we can't do that to an American citizen That has nothing to do with color. All right. So everybody needs to get away from that too. When you say the word American, what color do you think of?
Most red, white, and blue, baby.
It's red, white, and blue. That's the American colors, right? So it doesn't matter what skin color you are, if you're born here or you're a citizen now because you did all the right stuff. You're an American. That's all there is to it. So we start this company. We need a bunch of people, but we're like, we need to get a bunch of cheap labor. We can't afford. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So here, yeah, exactly. So we're going to go find people, and we're going to really want people coming illegally. And it has nothing to do with Mexico. It's anybody that comes through illegally that we can get them to work for us for dirt cheap.
And it would be Mexico. They're the harder is working.
That's probably true. And then we're going to say to them, listen, keep your mouth shut. You're going to work for a couple nickels and a bean and cheese burrito, right? Or we're going to turn your ass in. And that's the problem. The next step is what Joe was talking about earlier about these apartment complexes and stuff. These cartel and gang members and all these guys are coming over, and they know they're not going to come to suburbia and hit that, because those people will call the police and everything else. They know if they go to these apartment complexes where you have people that have been allowed in illegally, and they're trying to, these are probably good people that are trying to do their thing, even though they're illegal. They're trying to work and do all their stuff. These guys are taking advantage of that because they're like, we can extort these folks because they can't call the police and say anything because they're in fear of being deported. And now they're in fear of these people. So we, the United States, have created this system that makes it a nightmare for these people. They come here with the hope and dreams of all this stuff being wonderful, and they get thrown into this weird utopian nightmare of, everything going on. And the dang people that they tried to leave behind in their old countries are now following them over here.
Yeah, because they're easy targets.
They're easy targets because in their old country, maybe they could call the police or they could shoot back. I don't know the specifics. Obviously, I'm just speculating on what, but they are assuming they're going to get here and everything's going to be kind of clear runnings, and it's not.
I just think people need to use a little bit more common sense. Like, let's be honest. The people that are getting, I saw a couple of videos with Kristi Noem. She's in charge of DHS, or
Secretary of Homeland Security.
That one. And I seen a couple of videos. She actually went out with her officers, ICE, and them to go, and they're capturing these guys.
They're killing dogs.
Criminals. They're criminal. Yeah, they're killing dogs and eating them. They're criminals. People. And here's the thing: that these sanctuary cities are releasing them. They're releasing them. They're saying, "Oh, yeah, you got arrested for this, but we're going to let you go because ICE is coming." They're releasing them to the streets. Like, yeah, we know you sexually assaulted somebody, but we're gonna let you go.
Yeah,
ICE. They're not dumb. Kristi, she's got a group of intelligence officers out there looking for these people, and they're finding them. But here's the thing: common sense again, right? When Trump said, "Hey, we're gonna go after these criminals," we're going. When Tom Homan, yeah. When
the borders are
when they were on TV, brother, everybody sent it out to social media. We're coming after the criminals. We're coming after the criminals, illegal immigrants. But if you happen to be around and you're also here, we're taking you too, bro. It was like, that's a warning.
Guilty by association.
But if I'm going to arrest this guy who's a felon, I'm going to take him.
Yeah,
not a felon because he's illegal. A felon because he committed a crime in the United States. He got arrested, but they got let go. We're going to take you. By the way, what's your status? Oh, you're going to.
Yeah,
you're
here
now.
To. Yeah.
So if I ever heard Tom Homan or Trump say, "Hey, we're coming after these guys. These are who we are looking for specifically,"
I would stay around.
But if you're
away
there,
from those guys.
But if you're there, we're taking you too. I'd be like, "Hermano, bye bye."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love you, man, but I can't be around you.
Look, bro, I'm illegal, but I have a worse illegal here. Can I get the prize money? Yeah. All right. Send it here because I'm not going to be there. You know what I mean? But dude, if you're not paying attention to what they're saying, they're telling you, "Hey, don't be there. Just don't be there."
Yeah.
We'll come maybe 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's if that. Right now, our hands are full with all these criminals that are over here.
Because legitimately, so the people that are protesting, right? They're protesting that everybody that's here illegally are good people, and they're just trying to.
No such thing as illegal.
Right. And so let me ask you this: a lot of the folks that are flying the flag of Mexico in the United States or other country, I think they're flying the Mexican flag more to it's a statemental thing.
That's stupid. That's stupid. I don't care. You're gonna make an excuse for it, Jay. That's stupid.
No, it's
stupid. Don't wave another flag in this soil.
Yeah,
that's so. You know what would happen to you, honestly? honestly, bro, and I say this from the bottom of my, you know what happened to you if you'd go to Mexico and wave some other flag? The citizens rip that flag out of you. Like, what, dude, don't wave that flag in our country.
That's disrespectful.
Mexicans are prideful people. They take pride in what they do. They take pride in their country. And dude, I'm all for that.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So why is it okay for Mexico to be prideful and do that, but when we try to do it, we're horrible people?
What's funny is my dad had a place down in San Felipe, and he had a flag in the window of his place, and guess what it was? It was a Mexican flag.
No.
He didn't have an American flag down there because
your dad served this country.
My dad,
you know what I mean?
In the Navy, so yeah. But he loved it down there, man. He loved the people. Everybody was really cool. The
cerveza's really cold.
Cerveza's cold, and the senoritas are hot.
Yeah, you do it. And the water's
the water's okay. It's all right. Just be, it's hit or miss.
But that's just respect.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you a question. So the thing comes up all the time now that, well, we are currently, because we're in Arizona, we're sitting on stolen land, right?
Oh, give me.
So it's like twice baked potatoes. It's been stolen 3 or 4 times, because now you think about it, the original people that were here were what we would consider like Native Americans, right? Native American people.
Or like the white man would say, Injuns.
Injuns, yeah. So, and they fought over a lot of this land here. So there was different tribes, and they all fought over the land.
Look, Jay, you and I have had this discussion. Apaches were fighting with the Navajo, and everybody was conquering. So to say that we're on occupied land, well, it was occupied before us. It was occupied before the ones that we've occupied it from, and before them. Like all these people in Mexico. It's funny because these kids.
So who originally lived in Mexico? So
I'm gonna tell you who originally lived in Mexico. You ready for this? The history goes back, and it doesn't go that back far. You had the Mayas, the Aztecs. You have Native Americans, which meaning that they're from that area.
Yeah,
Native,
right. Which the Aztecs would be the equivalent of what we call Native Americans in the United States.
I honestly feel that all those migrated up, and a lot of them.
Absolutely.
There's that's another whole podcast, but there's a lot of pyramids, like in Mayas and stuff in the United States that people don't really know about. They're covered by grass and stuff, but they did migrate because they were getting pushed by the conquistadors, right? By just all the different other.
And who was that?
That was the Spaniards, right? But
here's
the Europeans. But here's the thing: even then, within the Aztecs, they fought each other. There was different tribes. They fought each other. The Mayas did the same thing.
Everybody's always done that.
Everybody
since the beginning of time.
The Incas down in South America fought different stuff. Right. There is no such thing as this belongs to whoever. This belongs to whoever has it.
Right.
And the thing is so all these people say, I'm an indigenous person. No such thing anymore. Right. There's no such. Everyone's mixed with something, right? Maybe native brothers and sisters in America, maybe still, because unfortunately we put them in a reservation, so they don't really wander outside of that. So they're still kind of pure as far as being Native Americans. Yeah. There's not a lot of mix there. But in Mexico, we have Spanish, we have European, we have Portuguese, we have just every type. It's rare, and they're old and they're dying. The natives, like the old Mayans or the old, that had any kind of
the
indigenous,
of that.
They're slowly dying.
Right.
So there's no one here. We're all mixed in America, all mixed. Everywhere we're mixed.
And so when you think about that, why in the United States is it such a big deal? So were there slaves in Mexico?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of them.
Were there slaves in Europe?
Absolutely. They started it.
So the Portuguese were some of the first people to be importing slaves around the world, right?
But the Africans were selling them.
The Africans
slaves.
sold each other.
Yeah,
they were horrible.
They're like, bring your ships here, buddies. We got somebody for you.
We got tons of them. We don't like this other tribe, so we're going to sell them off to you guys. And
but you know what? The Aztecs did the same thing.
Yeah,
when they conquered someone, they take the women and the children and then make the men slaves.
Right.
And it happened.
So just so you guys know,
you get married, you become your wife's slave. Right. It happens today. You're being conquered every day. I don't know if you want to say it.
Dang it, being conquered. In 1519 is when the last breath of the Aztecs was taken, right? And it's when the Spanish conquistadors and such, they had finally completely taken over. So now it becomes Mexico, right? And it's full of Spanish/French Europeans that some of them integrated with the existing Aztecs and such. And it became what would be the Mexico of today. Now, they expanded northwards into what is part of the United States, Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, a little bit of Colorado,
Utah.
Yeah, a little bit of Utah. Right. That land was gobbled up from who? The Native Americans that were in the United States.
Correct.
And like you said, they started pushing northwards and everything. And then
for the Tatankas.
So then you have the French that are mainly up in Canada, right? In the center part of the United States.
Please stay there.
And then you have you have Italian, Irish, German, all these people on the East Coast, and the Dutch and all that are on the East Coast.
Correct.
And they start heading west, right? The Western expansion. Then there's what was it called? The Louisiana Purchase. They purchased that from the French and everything. So the middle of the country. And then the only thing that was squeezing down was towards the Southwest. That's where the final thing came to set boundary lines, and it was still open land. It was
like maybe on paper, maybe they were there, or maybe people just moved up there, and there was Mexicans. There was Mexicans everywhere because we multiply. We're crazy. We're like those little things that you blow, those dandelions or whatever. That's Mexicans.
Well, Mexico City the largest populated city in the world?
Overly populated. Overly populated.
These are like rabbits, man.
We didn't have a lot of TVs, but so yes, and so the expansion started to grow. Of course, you had the Texas that was in and out of Mexico. They was in, it was out. And, and then they said, "You're tired of this. We're tired about this." And and the whole thing about that was that Texans still wanted slavery. They were trying to eradicate it, so they wanted to be on themselves. And then Mexico's like, "No, you're going to be part of us. We don't believe in all that." So they said, "You know what? We're going to be our own country."
Yeah,
and so there was just so much going on. But I just think that people have to understand we're not on occupied land. Well, we are because we're occupying it, but we're not on conquered land. We're not on. I mean, everything was a battle. People are where we are for a reason.
Are we going to go back to Genghis Khan and be pissed at his ancestry?
Well, I think all of us have a little bit of Genghis Khan in it. That guy took everything. But there's no pure.
We all come from Constantine.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I wish some of these kids would do these Ancestor and or 21andMe, like those those
Ancestry.com.
Yeah. And really go into, they'll be like, oh my God, like that's my percentage of Mexican. That's it. They're waving these flags like they're like, I'm a purebred Mexican. Like you ain't Mexican.
Well, what's that girl? Is her name? Was it the girl Sunny on The View? And she did that and found out that she was part, obviously she doesn't look fully black anyways. And she looks like she's got European, and sure enough, she did. And she comes to find out that she had family that was slave owners.
Yeah. Well, there was someone else too that was an outspoken activist who her relatives came over in the Niña Pita Santa Maria or something like that. Yeah. She goes, and they weren't the slaves. Yeah. And they're like, what? So I'm like, oh, looky there. Yeah. But if you really start looking into some of these backgrounds, even the people that are waving the Mexican flag that are on this side, they'll be surprised to see that there's a lot of mix in there.
Absolutely.
There is no purity anymore. There's no pure Mexican. There's no pure white person. There's no pure, there's nothing. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with being proud in a country that spreads her wings to protect you and give you the liberties that you have to enjoy life. And it's okay to go to Mexico and respect their culture and respect the way they live, and us not be intrusive to that, like a lot of Americans like to be, and we all need to respect these boundaries. But to come out here, cry wolf, and say Trump's immigration policy is horrific, separating families, blah, blah, blah. No one said that when Obama started it. Obama started those little kids cages and separated families, but no one raised an eyebrow. Nobody raised an eyebrow.
Media manipulation is all it is.
And the thing is, I wish that my people, the Mexican American people out there, weren't as ignorant and would read a little bit. Just read a little bit. Don't believe everything you hear from mainstream media, from other people that think they know everything about Mexico. I'm an Aztec warrior, and blah blah blah. I mean, shut up. You don't even know how to speak, Spanish, and you're an Aztec warrior. Get out of here, man.
And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with, me personally, the Aztec culture.
It's intriguing.
It is.
It's intriguing.
And you can ask any, my mom, I've always loved Egyptian stuff, their architecture, the pyramids and everything. It's very intriguing, right? You're really drawn to it. And the Aztec culture too, I think it's super cool. The Native American culture in the United States, I think there's such really cool things about it, you know. But the thing is time moves on and things move on. And here's the bottom line to it, right? So we live in the state of Arizona, and Valentine's Day is coming up pretty soon. So make sure you get me a card or something.
Oh, it's already in the works.
Arizona was admitted to the states February 14th, 1912. February 14th. Oh, so happy Valentine's Day, everybody in Arizona. And this was the 48th state, right? So the only states that came in after was Hawaii and Alaska. Yeah, so 1912. So you start to really think about that. It's not that long ago, right? In the grand scheme of things, when the Aztecs were destroyed and taken over by the Spanish in Mexico, 1519. So when you start doing the math, there's a lot of history that's happened in there, right? And a lot of people have come, a lot of people have died, a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of.
The only Aztec on me is my tattoo. That's about it.
Oh, your calendar?
Yeah,
that's about awesome.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna give Aztecs. Those guys were geniuses, man.
Yeah,
the astronomy was excellent. The way they created these little floating lands for corn in the middle of a lake. I mean, they're geniuses. These guys came up with some great solutions, canal systems, all kinds of things, bro. And here we are. We can't even get along. You know what I mean? In a society. So I don't know, guys. I think we all should do better, a little bit better, and instead of hating on the policies that are here that are being implemented for a better country for us, for our children, for our children's children. We should embrace that. We should be proud of that. We should support those things. It's not like this country is a country of hate and we don't like these brown people and we're going to move them out. That's not even the case. This country is and always will be about immigrants, and we will continue to open our gates to immigrants when done correctly, because this is a land of immigrants. Like Mexico is a land of immigrants. The European nations are a land of immigrants. Everywhere is a land of immigrants, and we have to respect that. And people are not. And by going out there and waving that Mexican flag or the Colombian flag or Salvadorian flag and demanding something is not the way to do it.
No, not at all.
It's not. If you want to do something, drop that flag, go serve your country. See how bad you are now. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah. I love you guys. You're street warriors out there with your flags and blocking traffic. You're doing a lot of good.
Yeah.
You should get a job. Go back to school.
Get extra glue to glue your hand to the streets.
I'm just kidding. We love you guys. So just do better, man. Just do better. Yeah. Don't get sucked in by the lies the media gives you. Don't get sucked in by the lies the left feeds you. Do your own research. Here
would be the thing I would say to just think about it yourself. You don't have to agree with us. You can agree, disagree, what have you.
Better agree with us.
Better agree with us, dang it. So this would be what I would say to just ponder upon yourself. I'm going to stand out here and say that I cannot stand this country, and I have a flag of choice, doesn't matter what it is, in my hand. And this is now, if it's not a country that you've come from, you're absolutely a hypocrite, right? Which is probably most of the people. If you came from that country and you're waving that flag and burning the one that's here, let me ask you a question, to ask yourself a question. Why aren't you running back there?
Oh, because they're not from there. They wouldn't last a day in Mexico.
Right. Well,
not a day.
Even the people that are actually physically from there, those aren't the people waving those flags because they know better. They know that this is a better opportunity.
Let me tell you one thing. Those people waving the flags in the streets and blocking traffic, I guarantee you 100%, it ain't the illegal immigrants.
No.
They're like, we ain't going to get caught by ICE today. Not today.
We're not going to be waving a flag. That's pretty obvious, right?
No. So. But you know what? I'm also, and this is my last thing I want to say. One of the things that I am very proud of is seeing those Mexicans that are here with either a resident alien card or who have become naturalized citizens, who are he goes, and it's funny because you'll see them on social media. They're more patriotic than patriots. You know what I mean? They're waving the American flag. They have all these American colored stuff on them. And they're like, I love my culture. I love my heritage, but I will never disrespect the country that's opened its arms for me and given me these opportunities. He goes, in Mexico, I would never imagine owning a car, let alone a house. And those are the people that I say, like, good for you, man. Yeah. You are the true representative of a Mexican, is someone who appreciates a host country that has now opened its arms and made you its citizen. You know, God, man, I don't know. It irritates me. So anyway, just make sure at 1:30, if you're blocking the I-10, I'll be there. So just...
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us once again on our journey here on multiple Subjects, man, I don't even know how many subjects we've covered in the last few
I
years.
don't know, but today's was kind of angry one. So.
Yeah, today was angry. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some angry responses.
I don't care. I don't care. This ain't your podcast.
Yeah. Opinions matter.
Just not yours.
All right. Well, everybody, like Joe said, make sure you take care of one another.
And guys, remember, love your neighbor and love God.
And as always,
God bless America. We'll see you next week, guys.
See you next Tuesday.
Take care of yourself. With that American flag.
Love y'all.